End of Module 5 Review Test, 4th grade, Problems 3 and hopefully 4. Generate a pattern, and we're going to change this problem a little bit because this doesn't represent what's on the test very well. So I'm going to change it to generate a pattern of at least 12 fractions by adding 2/5 to 1/5 and then continuing to add 2/5 to each fraction. You should probably pause now so that you can change your paper to look like mine. Circle each fraction equal to a whole number. So let's circle the word circle. And what are we going to circle? Whole numbers, right? Fractions that are equal to whole numbers. Then we need to write what we notice about the pattern of whole numbers. The first two fractions are written for us. Well, those two fractions aren't going to be correct because we changed the problem. So if the two first fractions were written for us, it would look like this. Okay? So generate a pattern of at least 12 fractions by adding 2/5 to 1/5. So they had 1/5. They added 2/5, so they counted up from 1 to 3/5. And then I'm going to write down here so that we can continue from there. So we have 3/5 plus 2/5 equals 5/5. And so 5/5 goes up here. Then we add 2/5 again, which would give us 7/5. 5 plus 2 is 7. And so we put our 7/5 up here. And then we add 2/5 again. 7 plus 2 is 9/5. So then we write 9/5 up here. Then we add 2/5 again, which gives us 11/5. We write 11/5 up in our pattern. Plus 2/5 again would equal 13/5. And so we add 13/5 to our pattern. Then we add 2/5 again, which equals 15/5. So then we put 15/5 up here. Then we add 2/5 again, and we get 17/5. So I put 17/5 in my pattern. I'm going to check. Remember, the first two were done for you, so those don't count. I want to see if I've made it to 12. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I still need 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fractions, right? Hopefully we can do it in our heads now. So 17/5 plus 2/5 is 19/5. 19, 20, 21. So that would be 21/5. 22, 23 would be 23/5. 25/5. And 27/5. So that's the first part. Generate a pattern. We've created a pattern of at least 12 fractions. I did 12, 14 if you include the two that were done for us. By adding 2/5, right? I added 2/5 to 1/5, and then continuing to add 2/5 to each fraction. Now we need to circle each fraction that's equal to a whole number. Is 1/5 equal to a whole number? No. 3/5? No. 5/5? Yes, 5/5 is equal to 1. 1 is a whole number. 7/5? No. 9/5? No. 11/5? No. 13/5? No. 15/5? Yes. 15/5 is equal to 3. 3 is a whole number. 17/5? No. 19/5? No. 21/5? No. 23/5? No. 25/5? Yes. And 25/5 is equal to 5. 27/5? No. So now I've circled them all. Notice that you have to go through and really look at each one to decide if it's a whole number or not. If you could skip count by 5s to that number. Write what you notice about the pattern of the whole numbers. Well, let's look. I did 1, 3, 5. Ooh, 1, 3, 5. So I notice a few things. I notice, sorry for changing colors. I notice the whole numbers are all odd numbers. Oh, look at that. I forgot the word numbers. Sorry. I notice the whole numbers are all odd numbers. And then I'm going to make sure the teacher knows what I'm talking about. 1, 3, 5, right? Period. I also notice the numerator, or the number on top, is divisible, and I'm going to put in parentheses, or skip counts, by 5. Yeah, the numerator is always divisible by 5, right? If you notice anything else, keep writing it so that the teacher knows what you're thinking. All right, let's go ahead and go to number 4, and we'll do that one as well on this video. Number 4, find each sum or difference. So the biggest problem I have with this one is that children will just add them all and not notice that C and D are both subtraction, right? So be really careful when you get to C and D that you subtract because they're different, okay? Find each sum or difference. So when we're adding and subtracting, we do first grade numbers first. So first grade numbers first. You might even write on your paper, first grade numbers first, right? What's 3 plus 4? 7. And then we write the fractions the way they are. 7 2/10 plus 4/10. Then 2/10 plus 4/10 equals 6/10. So I still have the whole 7 and 6/10. Now we ask, my favorite question, is 6/10 bigger or smaller than 1? 6/10 is smaller than 1 because I would have to make it to 10/10 to get 1, and I only have 6 of them. So I am finished with this problem, unless you're gate or want to do the 5th grade way, which when I look at 6/10, I would divide by 2 over 2, and that would give me 6 divided by 2 is 3, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the gate or the 5th grade answer would be 7 3/5. This answer will get you full credit, so no worries. But if you're gate or like to push yourself, 7 3/5 would be great. Looking at B, let's add our first grade numbers first. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 4, 5. So now I have 5, and then I write the fractions just the way they were. So I had 1/8 plus 2/8 plus 7/8. That's going to give me 5, and then let's add our 8s. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 7 is 10, so we have 10/8. Now is the time to ask, my favorite question, is 10/8 bigger or smaller than 1? It's bigger than 1 because I can pull out 8/8. How many 8s would I have left over? Good, I would have 2 8s left over. So here I have 1 and 2 8s. So I take the 5, I add 1, and I get 6. 6 2 8 would be the answer. Where did you get the 6? Let's look at that again. I had 5 to begin with, right? I had 5 and 10/8. When I broke up the 10/8, when I decomposed it, it gave me a 1 right here. So I did 5 plus 1 equals 6. That's where I got the 6. So 6 2/8 is my answer. This does have a gate or a fifth grade answer. That's right, it would be 6 1/4. Very nice, because 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4. What do we have to remember about C? What is it really important that we remember about C? That's right, that it's subtraction. So here we're going 3 minus 1 equals 2, because we still do first grade numbers first. And we get 7/11, 2 and 7/11. Now I want a Slurpee. And then we have minus 5/11. That's going to equal 2. And then 7/11 minus 5/11 is 2/11. This one does not have a fifth grade answer or a gate answer. So you're done right there. 2 and 2/11. I'm not liking my 2. Whoa. Hello. This 2, I'm a little worried about how it's written, so I'm going to try to write it even nicer so my teacher definitely gives me credit, right? So 2 and 2/11. Now let's go on to D. What do we need to remember about D? What was I doing before when we were talking about it? That's right, we have to subtract. Really important that we subtract. Let's do our first grade numbers first. 3 minus 2, everybody. Good, 1. So I have 1 1/5 minus 3/5. Do I have enough fifths to subtract? I do not. 1 minus 3 you can't do in 4th grade. You can do it later, but not in 4th grade. So I need to get some more fifths over here near the 1. So I know that 1 is 5/5. And I have this 1/5. So I'm going to add those together to get 6/5. And then I can subtract my problem. 6/5 minus 3/5 equals 3/5. And that's my answer for D. That's it for number 4.